Hey everybody, this is DayTraderRockStar, and this is a Friday video. We're going to start it off here. Going into this week, I wanted to show you some of the tradeometer stuff that we had rollover. We're actually trading now the September contract, so we want to, kind of adjust all our trading platforms to simulate that. And what I wanted to do, and we did that for the tradeometer. And the tradeometer, as you know, hopefully you know, is our little program here that gives us our buy and sell signals, profit signals also. And we just had one, so I want to discuss how to take a scalp in the SPY options. In this case, just a standard scalp in this versus futures, because a lot of people think that the tradeometer should only be used for futures, but basically you have the ES, the NQ, and the Dow, and we will be also adding crude to it and the Russell. But right now we're going to focus on the ES there, and you can see that green dot right there represents that buy trigger. It just came out. So you have to be really on top of these things. You want to be able to have it in front of you and be able to take the trades off of it, because this is a scalping tool. It helps with your short-term entry levels. We have a very disciplined way of taking profits and a very disciplined way of protecting for any downside, when it's all based on some of the indicators. So I was just looking at this fast, and I wanted to go over here and say, all right, so we're going to look at the S&P 500. What I'm going to do is just bring up the SPY here. You're going to see identical pattern playing out. You can see that the 5-minute setup, we're looking at 210, maybe the 210 area, 210, 211 area, 210.50s. And I'm going to actually go over here. I'm going to drag this over to my IB options trader panel, and I'm going to look at the 19s. 210.50s are about $1.29. So if I'm maybe looking to take a trade here, this is where I would be maybe concentrating on this option here, maybe the 210 to 210.50s, depending, even the 211s, if I think that we could get a decent move here back up to 211. Now the market's a little weak today. There's Greece news. It's a Friday. It's probably not a big day to see any big moves. So again, trying to concentrate on scalps. And if we go back here to the tradeometer, you can see maybe we're going to wait for that next setup right now. Well, that's what probably the best thing to do is to get us the best entry possible, is just to wait for that next setup, because we've already gotten a bounce. I want to go back here one more time, take a look at the S&P, the futures chart. Let's bring that up here. And I have the September contract also tracking the June contract, pretty much given the same patterns. And you can see this was a classic tradeometer setup. We had that reversal candle to go along with it too. But it's already moved, it already moved up here. It's already pushed up against the 20-period moving average. And, the risk-reward benefits are not like they were a few minutes ago. So we're going to wait for that next up. But just to let you know, this is what that video is going to be based on. So the next setup, I'm going to show this live, and we'll just come back to it when everything's setting up, and we'll take that trade. All right, we just got another oversold level. And again, we're looking at the SPY, the trade off the SPY. Let's take a fast gander here, SPY. I always say to myself, to make it fun, here we got a little bounce. And again, that oversold level. So a couple things we want to look at here. We did have a pretty decent trend line, the 200-period moving average. There's nothing really established to the downside as of trend lines, a little breakdown there. The SPY here, again, getting a little bounce. The important thing is that tradeometer setup, and you can actually see we just chopped around down here. And just triggered it on the NQ, triggered it on the ES, and triggered it on the YM. Now a little bit more selling this morning, so the pressure is to the downside. The next thing I typically want to do is look at what type of setup it is, the HPS trading playbook play. And there's two on the ES that I like to trade, and one is called the lane divergence, the other one's called the triple threat reversal. triple threat reversal where we have all three bands of stochastics here oversold, and then we look for that reversal candle to come into play. We need to have it all set up properly. We didn't really see any reversal candle yet. So again, that's, that kind of keeps you out of that downward slop here. Here we had that pretty decent reversal candle back here. But again, that was back here. We're looking for one now here. You can see where we got oversold, the oversold candle. Could have had a trade off of that. But this is always real time, and I want to make sure that we, give you the best opportunity. So again, we're kind of oversold here. Let's take a look at the 5 minute. 5 minutes oversold. Came into today with that 16-minute time frame extended, and we knew that we were eventually going to get a rotation back down. This was our great entry. We knew we were going to have a little problem up here eventually, and we came right up against this trend line, and then we're falling back through it. Now this was an old trend line that we've penetrated. So actually a retest of that trend line could actually be a level of support. I'd be watching it. That's around that 2089 on the cash. 2089 on the cash. 2089.50. Somewhere in that zone. All right, well, here we have that possible. When we talk about divergence, we look for this little spike lower, yet we want to see if there's a reaction with the stochastics, the underlying momentum also, or is that shifted and going to stay there? So that was the positive. It looks like the potential divergence. I'm not saying it's played out yet. I want to just make sure I got all my lines kind of just worked out here. You can actually see we took out those lows. Things are so fickle sometimes. And then we're starting to push back up here. So it's not a bad setup here. If you're going to take a look at that as a scalping setup here, let's take a look at it on a closer way here. Let's bring it up. All right. I want to go with it. Now with the SPY 210. We're coming up on 210 to July 19. 210 SPYs. Trading at 136, 137. And we'll just go. We're going to jump in on 5 of these right here. All right. So let me just. So just jumped in on 5. Let me move this over here. I'll bring this over if I can. All right. So we have 5 market price 137, average price 137, and they're the June 19th 210 calls, and this is we're going to see what we could get on just 5 if it works out here. Again, typically a Friday like this is not the ideal situation. But like I said, I was trying to give you some good setups using the Tradeometer. And we did have, well, let's see if we have that divergence. We had a little divergence here. That's what I took that on. Now, we're still looking at the June, but you're going to, the only reason I'm looking at the June here, it's interesting because I am not seeing the same underlying good motion with the stochastics, the really good motion with the stochastics. I am seeing them still here. The cleaner look, the more tighter, and the more angles to them. I like this to see that a little bit more. So that little low here, we've dropped down through that low. We kind of continue to push higher, and that's where we are right now. We are right there right now. Oh. All right, so again, this could be a little bit boring at this point here, especially on a Friday. We're having a hard time getting through that 20-period moving average. Remember, that scalping technique that is based off the divergence or the triple threat is really a scalping technique, meaning that if you get a point on that, that's considered a successful trade, especially if you rotate back up on that fast stochastic indicator, you get back above that 20 line, you're going to still have that same chop. So again, we're looking at, really, to say, all right, that gave us that little edge there. Now, is there a bigger picture playing out here? Well, that becomes a little bit tougher because the 5-minute appears to be embedded here. Some weakness in this today, and it does feel like there's some downside weakness. So we are overextended here on the 5, but embedded. The 1-minute chart, we did start to have that divergence. Yet we're extended now on that 1-minute chart, so we could actually break down to new lows here. That's what you have to realize that, not to understand that sometimes you get a lot, sometimes you get a little. the chances of getting something are there. There are a higher probability of getting something. It's just the technique of understanding how far you're going to get with a trade is probably the second most important thing. Green Mountain Coffee here just ripped higher. Can't believe that. Whoa. And then we have a breakdown there. So that's, again, not going to play out the way I want it to play out. And that small little move there, take a look at what that's showing up.
NQ Tradeometer oversold.
On that SPY call right down 37. So we're probably going to have to just take that off. And because that's where we would normally want to put that stop in. Now we have another potential divergence here. I mean, we'll give it a second here. We'll give it a little second here. Especially if we cross back up here quickly. Hot. It's hot. Kind of got some kind of trend line underneath us. Where does this go from? Yeah, now I am actually seeing this wedge pattern playing out right now. I like that wedge. Again, it's a good area. It's a good area. We had a little divergence, got a little pop. Now we're starting that wedge pattern. Typically a reversal type of bounce area. This is not a bad falling wedge. It's not a bad small little falling wedge. But a lot of news out there. Come on, Greek news. All right, pretty much back to break even here on the calls. It's down 7. That's about it right now, down 2. See if we get this back in the positive territory. And we're in positive territory. $8. Again, you can see that 5-minute. We haven't gotten a good rotation on the 5-minute yet. There goes Green Mountain Coffee. And again, this is the hard thing about doing these individual videos, showing you some techniques. Sometimes you just have to wait for the market, and doing it on a Friday is not always the best. But we're going to lock something in here. Let's get this pop up here. We're going to get a rotation. If we don't get a rotation, that weakness is probably going to hang around for the rest of the day unless some news comes out. But there is potential for some news today. And, of course, that's a gamble in itself whenever that hits the wires. But technically speaking, we're starting to look at some levels. You have this nice little falling wedge. You had the tradeometer set up. We have the trade, but slowly moving. The NQ seems to be on target today. Meaning this is the one that seems to be keying in and really moving nicely. We're not seeing anything on the ES yet. The NQ just had a nice bounce and a nice, nice pop into that buy trigger. A little pop here. Wish I could put the chart and the maybe I can over here. The one thing you have to pay attention to, again, is just, how things typically work. You get that little bounce off the lower trend line. You push up here. You kind of retrace back a little, see if we get some follow through, or do we fail, move down. Love to get a little pop here. Let's just take this one home. A little volume coming in now. Greece is back in the news here. Greece
Hi, took
ready
alert.
to submit counter proposals.
Hi, took alert. Now get down and give me 20. Give it to me hard and
Who
fast.
just called for Greece news? How did I know that was coming out? So we got our options here popping a little. Up 33. I mean 43. Now 53.
Hi, took alert. Now get down and give me 20.
63.
Give it to me hard and fast.
Yeah, that's our trade alert. 73. 93. In this case, I'm going to sell 3 of these. I'm going to sell 3 of these, lock this in right here. I'm just going to hold on to 2 and let this play out. That way we're always taking, the news is interesting, but it's always, I'm always suspect of all news, and if I get an opportunity to sell into the news, well, that's what most likely I'm going to do. Plus, I'll leave a little on my head now, for my head. And what that means is feeling good about being in a trade, not getting out totally in case something really great comes out. You at least feel like, all right, I had a little, iron in the fire. It's always funny to also see news come out into a pattern like this. How many times have we seen like a falling wedge or a lane divergence? Next thing you know, there was release of news. And it seems like it was a pattern breakout, yet, this is a textbook wedge pattern breakout retracement pop. This is what you want to see without news, but it's almost like it's almost planned. But I'm not being like, I'm not going there. I'm not going to go there. Say that's what's happening in the world these days, but it is sometimes so coincidental. Anyway, I want to try to edit this out so you don't have to hang around for it. You got a little trade in there, but that's about it. So we locked in some of that profit. Probably could have locked in most of it. But we're going to let this play out. It's a Friday. Maybe some news comes out. We took most of the, took 3 off, leaving 2 on. And we'll come back with another video soon.